It was interesting the way she treated men. There was this idea that all the men were lovers of Martha Graham. I think we all loved her, but we weren't lovers because if you didn't love her, you couldn't take it because she was such a strong woman. When she was nice, she was very, very nice, and when she was bad, she was horrid. When she was angry, I still think that I used to see blue lightning going across the floor when she was angry, because she would bring that enormous power to her anger. Martha always used the men as they were in relation to her. And that's very complicated because it means that every man was something else to her. And that's fair enough. As a choreographer, I know that. Because if you know, I think the analogy to art, painting art, is very good because you go to the shop that sells paint and there's a new shade of red and you like it very much. Well, the next painting, you're going to use that red. And you're going to use it in many different ways, not like you used red before. And that's the way Martha approached men. If a man came that had unusual emotional quality or even technical quality, she would use that. And she would like that a lot because it made the choreography easier. And as a choreographer, if you have a company of people who are constant, not just changing all the time, you begin to think of them in certain parts. And that's as it should be. And you create the part for them that they can do well. Martha had, for a long time, she had Eric Hawkins, who she later married, and Merce Cunningham. And they were the first men she had in her company. And she used them both in that way. She used Eric as the man in her life, and she used Merce Cunningham as the dreamer, as the angel. He always played the other part. In a dance called circus, Eric was the ringmaster, Merce was the acrobat. In another dance, Merce was the poetic, he was the beloved, and Merce was the poetic beloved. It was something else. So she used breaking up the parts that way as two aspects of a love. And she could use the men that way because that's the way she thought of them. She did a wonderful dance, we had very few performances, and there's no record of it, called Theater for a Voyage. For at least 10 years, there were three men, myself, Stuart Hurds, and Bertram Ross. And we three men were we were totally different on the stage, especially, but in life also. And Martha used the three of us with herself to make a piece. And it was about each of us as we were with her. And then the three together with her. And her with us. And it was very clear that she made the work about how she felt each of us contributed to her as a choreographer or as a dramatic performer. She used the men as a protagonist in a way, because if you were the man, she could hit against you and bounce off you, or she could love you and come together with you. So it added another dimension to her choreography, an obvious dimension, but still another one. She never gave men, well, not never, but almost never, she never made up the movement for the man. She told him what to do. Whereas when she choreographed for the women, she would get up and do the dance herself, and you had to follow her. But for the men, she never did it. She told you what to do. And sometimes that was good because you could experiment with the movement yourself, and she would say, no, don't lift the leg there, do this, and she would form it, but it was your movement, so it was easier on you. You didn't have to learn her movement as the women did. Where she was really good was that it had to be valid. So it had to be movement that you could do very well and very strongly. And that's where she was very good, especially good. She didn't get hung up and saying, well, I want your leg way up there and I want this, like some choreographers do. And if you can't do it, they keep insisting, try it, harder, harder. And you just get exhausted and you begin to hate that part. So she didn't do that ever. But she always wanted it to look fresh and new and yours. And she was very good at that. She used the men, of course, because she was a solo performer, even in a group work. She always had a major, nameable part. So she was always using the men to bounce off or to enhance what she was doing. And she liked it. She liked men. That was important. She liked men, and she had a very long and I'm sure satisfying sex life. It was obvious in her work that she created works around her loves. It didn't matter that you were a different person. It mattered that she got from you what she needed to perform.